Have you ever noticed how one small action can completely change the way you feel? Not tomorrow, not next week, not after months of therapy. Instantly, in seconds. Most people walk through life believing their emotions are random. They think stress just shows up, anxiety just appears, anger just explodes, sadness just sits there. As if emotions are weather, something that happens to them, something they can't control. But that's not the truth. Your brain is constantly responding to signals, tiny actions, tiny behaviors, tiny patterns. Every movement you make, every breath you take, every word you say is feeding information into your nervous system. And once you understand this, something powerful happens. You realize you can shift your mental state faster than you ever imagined. Think about it. There's a reason athletes move before big performances. There's a reason people take deep breaths when they're nervous. There's a reason music instantly changes your mood. Your body and your mind are not separate. They are connected, wired together. Change one and the other follows. It's not magic, it's biology. And today I want to show you something simple but extremely powerful. A list of 8 tiny actions that can hijack your emotions in seconds. Not minutes, not hours, seconds. Because sometimes the problem isn't your entire life. Sometimes your brain just needs a different signal, a different input, a different interruption. And the moment you give it that signal, everything changes. Let's begin. The first emotion is anger. When most people get angry, they do one of two things. They explode, they argue, they react emotionally, they say things they regret, or they suppress it. They hold it inside until it slowly builds into resentment, frustration, even depression. Both reactions are dangerous. Both damage you. But there's one action that releases anger faster than almost anything else. And it sounds strange when you first hear it. Sing. Yes, sing. It sounds weird, but think about what singing actually does to your body. Singing changes your breathing pattern. It relaxes the tension in your jaw, your chest, your shoulders, exactly where anger physically lives. It forces emotional energy out through sound instead of aggression. Even humming can calm your nervous system within seconds. That's why music feels therapeutic. It interrupts emotional momentum. And notice something important. Angry people usually become mentally narrow. Their focus locks onto the problem. They replay it. They magnify it. Singing breaks that loop. Suddenly your brain is processing rhythm, lyrics, melody, breathing, all at the same time. The emotional intensity weakens. The grip loosens. That's why after just a few minutes of music, people often feel like a different person. Not because the problem disappeared, but because their emotional state changed. And once the state changes, the perspective changes too. The second emotion is burnout. Burnout is dangerous because it doesn't always feel dramatic. It doesn't scream, it whispers. Sometimes it just feels like emptiness. No motivation, no excitement, no spark. Your brain feels heavy, your body feels slow. Even the things you used to love feel like work. And the worst thing you can do when you're burned out is stay mentally trapped in the same environment that drained you in the first place. That's why the solution is simple. Walk. Walking sounds too basic to matter. It sounds like advice your grandmother would give. But movement changes mental energy incredibly fast. Your brain was never designed to sit in one position for endless hours while consuming stress screens and stimulation. Walking resets attention. It reduces mental fatigue. It increases blood flow to the brain. It creates psychological distance from pressure. Some of the clearest, sharpest, most creative thoughts people ever have come during walks. Why? Because movement unsticks the mind. Even a 10-minute walk outside can completely shift your mood, especially if you leave your phone behind. No scrolling, no noise, no notifications, just movement and space, just you and the world around you. That's a reset your brain is begging for. Before we continue, if you're someone who wants a stronger mind, better focus, real emotional control, and self-improvement content that actually changes the way you think, then subscribe to the channel right now, because every single video here is designed to help you train your mind, sharpen your discipline, and become mentally stronger than most people around you. And if even one idea in this video helps you today, imagine what consistent mindset shifts can do for your life over the next year. So hit subscribe, and let's keep building a stronger mind together. Third, overthinking. This is one of the biggest mental traps of the modern world. People replay conversations from 3 days ago. They imagine worst-case scenarios that will never happen. They analyze every decision until they're paralyzed. They lie awake at night arguing with people who aren't even in the room. And the real problem with overthinking is this. Thoughts stay trapped inside the mind where they become louder, heavier, and more chaotic with every minute. So what's the fastest release? Write. Writing slows the mind down. When thoughts stay in your head, they feel infinite, endless, overwhelming. But the moment you put them on paper, something interesting happens. They become visible, organized, smaller. A journal is powerful because it forces clarity. Instead of feeling mentally drowned by 50 different thoughts, you suddenly see the real issue sitting right in front of you in black and white. And here's the strange part. When you write honestly, your brain stops carrying the same emotional weight. It's almost like transferring pressure out of your head and onto the paper. That's why so many disciplined, successful people journal every day. Not because their lives are perfect, but because writing helps them think clearly when everything else feels loud. Next, anxiety. Anxiety is future-focused fear. Your mind races ahead. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I'm not enough? And here's what most people don't notice. When anxiety increases, your breathing becomes shallow and fast without you even realizing it. Your body is already in panic mode before your mind catches up. So the fastest way to interrupt anxiety is simple. Breathe, not casually, intentionally. Slow, deep, controlled breathing sends a direct signal to your nervous system that you are safe. And here's the key. Your body believes physical signals faster than mental ones. That's why when someone says, just calm down, it almost never works. Your mind can't talk itself out of fear, but your body can be guided out of it. Try this for just a second. Slow inhale through the nose, pause, long exhale through the mouth. Do it 3 times. Notice how your shoulders drop. Notice how your chest opens. Notice how your mind quiets even slightly. That's not a trick, that's biology. Because calmness is not just a mindset, it's a physical state, and you have direct access to it through your breath. Now let's talk about stress. Stress today has become normal. People wake up stressed, eat stressed, scroll stressed, work stressed, sleep stressed. They don't even remember what it feels like to not be stressed. And over time, constant stress destroys focus, mood, energy, sleep, relationships, and discipline. It eats away at you quietly. That's why one of the best emotional resets is this: exercise. Exercise is not just about appearance or fitness, it's emotional control. When you exercise, your brain releases chemicals that improve mood and reduce tension almost immediately. But more importantly, exercise teaches your mind something powerful. Movement creates momentum. After a workout, people feel mentally lighter, more confident, more energized. Not because their problems disappeared, but because physical effort changes emotional chemistry. And here's the truth. You don't need a perfect gym routine. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need an hour. Push-ups in your room, stretching on your floor, running around your block, dancing in your kitchen. Anything that gets your body moving will shift your state. The body leads, the mind follows. Next emotion, sadness. This one is important, so listen carefully. When people feel sad, their brain naturally focuses on what's missing, what went wrong, what they lost, what they wish was different. And the longer their attention stays in that place, the heavier the emotion becomes. Sadness feeds on attention. The more you give it, the bigger it grows. That's why gratitude is so powerful. Not fake positivity, not pretending everything is fine, real, honest gratitude. Because here's the truth about your brain. It cannot deeply focus on appreciation and emotional emptiness at the same time. It physically can't. Gratitude changes attention. Suddenly, instead of only seeing problems, your mind starts noticing what still exists. Your health, your family, your progress, your breath, your opportunities. Even the small things, a warm meal, a quiet morning, a friend who answers your call. And here's the strange part. Gratitude doesn't always change your situation immediately, but it changes your perspective immediately. And perspective changes emotion, always. Now let's talk about laziness. Most people think laziness means they need more motivation. They wait, they scroll, they tell themselves, I'll start tomorrow. But often laziness isn't a motivation problem. It's low energy mixed with mental resistance. Your body is stuck in comfort mode, and your mind has gone soft alongside it. That's why cold showers feel so powerful. A cold shower shocks your nervous system awake. Your breathing changes instantly. Your alertness spikes. Your brain gets pulled fully into the present moment. There's no overthinking under cold water. There's no laziness under cold water. There's only you and the discomfort and the decision to stay in it. And more importantly, it teaches discipline. Every time you willingly do something uncomfortable, your mind becomes stronger. Every time you choose the harder option voluntarily, you build resilience. Comfort weakens people slowly. Small daily discomfort builds the kind of mind that doesn't break under pressure. Finally, impatience. This one quietly destroys motivation for so many people. They want results instantly, faster progress, faster success, faster transformation, faster change. And when things take time, when growth feels slow, when results don't arrive on their schedule, they get frustrated. They quit. They restart. They quit again. That's why the answer here is reflection. Reflect on your progress, because sometimes you feel stuck, not because you haven't grown, but because you forgot where you started. Think about it, honestly. A person who once struggled to wake up early now has a morning routine. Someone who once had no confidence now speaks more freely than ever. Someone who once had zero discipline now works consistently every single day. Progress becomes invisible when you only focus on the distance left ahead of you. Reflection reminds you how far you've already come. It restores belief. It rebuilds patience. It reconnects you with the version of yourself who started this journey with nothing and shows you that you're already not that person anymore. And honestly, this entire list teaches one important lesson. Emotions are not always solved through massive life changes. You don't always need a new city, a new job, a new relationship, a new identity. Sometimes your brain just needs a different action, a different signal, a different interruption. Sing when angry, walk when burned out, write when overthinking, breathe when anxious, exercise when stressed, practice gratitude when sad, take cold showers when lazy, reflect when impatient. Tiny actions, massive emotional impact. Because the truth is this, your brain is always listening to what you repeatedly do. Every habit becomes a message. Every action trains your emotional patterns. Every signal you send shapes the kind of mind you live with every single day. The strong mind isn't built in one big moment. It's built in hundreds of tiny ones, repeated quietly, day after day. So the next time emotions feel overwhelming, remember this. You don't always need to control the entire future. You don't need to fix your whole life in one day. You don't need a perfect plan. Sometimes you just need one small action to change the next moment. And that next moment, that one small shift, that one tiny signal can change everything.